and all those other exciting terms we see ad nauseum on LinkedIn. Well, hey there, welcome back. We deal with decisions every day. Many of the episodes that I have deal with the decision process on both grand and low levels. Three Voices deals with how we communicate these decisions, work through them, talk to both ourselves and others about them. Going with your gut, the universal advice, is telling you to listen to your first voice. Sometimes we say yes, sometimes we say no. Because explores the why behind those decisions, why some feel really good and why others might feel really bad. Sometimes the wrong decision feels good, and sometimes the right one feels bad. But how can the right one feel bad? Well, it's for the same reason that having your third piece of cake can feel good. If you've read Because, then you know that we're seeking pleasure and avoiding pain on a complex granular level. We want the cake because the first two felt pretty good, you know what I mean? But that doesn't make it the right decision. Diets sometimes feel bad. Avoiding a food we love feels bad. Avoiding a food we consider a reward feels worse. And avoiding a food we deem to be the only reward we get in our very stressful, controlled life can feel horrible. But it's the right thing to do. We get this mostly when it comes to guilty pleasures, or things that we consider to be things we do purely for pleasure. Playing games, watching TV and movies, binge watching our favorite series, escaping deep into a book, desserts, hobbies, etc. But we're far less cognizant of this when it comes to seemingly neutral decisions, or even decisions that aren't even needed. Take, for example, the dilemma of the solopreneur. Every dollar counts, and each new client and gig is a win, right? Keep building, keep growing, keep increasing your reach and client base. More and more work, more and more clients. But what happens when a new gig isn't a fit? What happens when a new client isn't a fit? Should you do it anyway? Take creatives, like people who produce music or art. If a company wants them to create a jingle for alcohol, but their music is about the opposite, or the band leader's sober now going on 5 years, well, what then? Take the manager that has to interview a number of people, but is told that one individual is good for the company. But there are two others that clearly have better skills, a personality more in line with the mission, and a better track record. Well, what then? What if your small company is presented with an opportunity to rescue a company from a crumbling infrastructure, and you could be a hero? On paper, it looks like a great opportunity if they just purchase all the equipment you propose and allow you the control needed to make it work for them, with ongoing involvement, of course. But what if your first voice, your gut, your intuition, tells you this won't be the way it plays out? That in fact it will be a struggle to have them on board with what will really work? Well, then what? One word. One difficult word. One word that can cause you to have stress and regret and soul searching. So what is interesting is that I have to spell this out and make a case-by-case example for this in business. But if we were to apply this to a relationship, you would instantly get it. You'd know that someone isn't a match, or that you've had red flags experience and would make a very personal decision to end the relationship, or not even pursue one that fits these parameters. And you might even be offended that I'm trying to tell you the kind of people you should pursue a relationship with. See, in a business we operate, seemingly, on simple rules of profit, margin, growth strategies, and all those other exciting terms we see ad nauseum on LinkedIn. But we don't talk much about the clients you don't pursue. But we should. Saying no can be difficult. It can activate all sorts of monsters and unicorns that manipulate you into seeking the pleasure of making someone happy, being the hero, gaining more profit, gaining more status, having a perfect record. It will activate the monsters that push you away from the pain of seeing your bottom line continue to shrink or the self-esteem drain of thinking a better person could do it, or the fear of missing out on an opportunity, or the pain of having your reputation be affected by a lack of skill. So you must take the time and energy to activate the monsters and unicorns that seek the pleasure of being honest with yourself, or knowing that you chose the right thing over the obvious thing, or avoiding the pain of the hidden time bomb of being blamed for the failure of a system that's about to fall apart. I remember my first no years ago, when I had a meeting with a potential client. I met with them, saw their environment, spoke to the president. After a short while, they let me know that they weren't going to pursue me. I thanked them for their time, and months later, I saw an article that applied to them. I thought it would be helpful for her to take a peek, and I happily sent it to her. Weeks later, she was so impressed by this that she mentioned that and wanted to have me come in for a second, deeper look. This time I was dealing with their marketing person, and the deeper look revealed items that were completely unknown, a pricing structure that was non-existent, and an elevator ride in which I was told to make sure that I showed up on time. In 2 decades, at the time, of client interaction, I had never missed a meeting, an appointment, and nor had I ever taken a sick day. All these pieces came together into a resounding but polite no, which was met with a, "Oh, so you think you probably can't handle this." 2 weeks after this, I experienced something unique. Passing an exit sign on the freeway, which mentioned the business, gave me a terrible sinking feeling of my new client. Except that they weren't. It was a 3-second roller coaster of opposing feelings, the dread and shock to the realization and relief. My no had paid off. I find myself in a similar position right now, and I'm reminded of my first no. Back then, I wasn't aware of the monsters and unicorns and their purposes and placement. But I see them now, and I appreciate what they're doing, and ultimately I will decide. And I've decided the right answer is no. Do you have a no you're struggling with? Let me know. I'm happy to sort out the monsters and unicorns with you. Take care of yourself and know that I appreciate you.
Well, I just wanna be happy. How to get there? Glad that you asked me. I think it's different for everyone. Some of us need work, others need fun. Some of us need purpose to overcome. But try to do what you love when it's said and done. Cause there's so many differences in each of us. Trust your gut, it can show you what you want. Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.
I want to announce that my new book, my 10th, is out. It's called Because, the fundamental psychological building blocks that enable you to, or prevent you from, accomplishing anything, everything, and nothing. Check it out on Amazon. It's only $9.99.